Today we are going to discuss about STATA program, and so that's what the main focus will be today, right? And yesterday there was a question like the order of presentation. In fact, we had decided already, isn't it? We had decided already the groups I had indicated. So I found that document and I uploaded that to the LMS. So you can see that, right? Okay. So let me see whether I can access that document and show you. Yeah, I'm trying to access that document. Yeah, and I hope to give today a quiz on today on the things what I teach you. So therefore, please be attentive, right? The classroom assessment will be that. Okay, based on state, right? So therefore, attentively listen, and today there will be a quiz. Okay, right. So then let me see. Okay. Let me see. I'll drive. See Sri Lanka. Again, this data analytics group segregation. Actually, that was decided already, and so let me show you. So the topic was allocated, and the groups are already given. The group numbers are also given. So let me show you there. Okay, so this is the document that I had shown you and I had allocated the topics to you. There I had indicated the group numbers. Right here, group 1 is Chandrakirti's group. Chandrakant's group. So then we have group number 2. And at that point, I had even indicated what are the names of the, group reports that I had given you. So these are the group reports. Then group number 2 is Vijay Sundara's group. Then group number 3, Pushpika's group. Then group number 4, Pereira's group. Then group number 5, Ali's group. Then group number 6, Gunathilaka's group. Then group number 7, Sevandhi's group, yes. And then group number 8, it is Salvadana's group. And group number 9, Mahalekam's group. And then group number 10, Sankapala's group. Then group number 11, Tessera's group. Likewise, we had already decided the group numbers, and then the topics are also decided on that day. It was week before last, right? So we had got this. So here we have about 15, 16-day exemption batch. So that's what we have got. Okay. Okay, so this will be the order that we are going to use. I'm going to tell to present. Okay, so that will be the case. Okay, any questions, Pudha? Any questions related to this? Hope everything is okay. And even if you have any questions today related to your group assignment, because which is due next week for the presentation, report and the presentation. So please be mindful about that. So let's go to your LMS now. So a little bit stop share. And then let me go to the LMS. Okay, so I have included that list also here. At the end of the lecture, it's in the recording. So if you look at the recording, is there. At the end of the lecture, indeed, I could get that list. So group segregation, 15 and 16D, I have put the 15 WD and 15, 16D, I have put that already. So therefore, please check that. So that group listing is going to be there. And that's it, right? Okay. Now, okay. So I have told what you have to do. The group report submission, you can see it's Friday. 2nd is the deadline. And then on 3rd, we have to do the presentations. Okay, this just I'm reminding you. Okay, with that, then we'll start the data analysis thing. Today, what state and why we do data, this will be discussed. Okay, so for that purposes, let's download the relevant materials for data. Here it says session panel regression. So this is where what we are going to do, right? So let me stop the WhatsApp because it's creating some unnecessary noises, which is distracting. Okay, so I stopped it. Okay. Okay, let's go back to WhatsApp. Okay, you can see that there is something called session panel regression. Please open that. So that's the under week 6 is session panel regression tutorial is there. The slideshow is there, and open it. Right. Okay. Now, if you have state, and I gave the package yesterday. Now, if you have state already installed, that's fine. But if it is not, that's also okay. Because for the assessment, what I'm trying to do is I'll be giving you the output of data. So you don't need to do any analysis. I'll be giving you the output in a PDF file. What you need to do is you have to interpret the output. That's all what you have to do. Therefore, even if you are not having the data package, there's no any problem, right? Go today attentively, listen to the lecture and engage in the lecture actively, right? Then there won't be any issue. Okay, so therefore, even if you have not installed SPSS data, there's no issue. There's no problem. Attentively listen, and then I'll be giving you the output on what I teach today. Then we'll have the quiz. Right? Therefore, I encourage all the students to listen very carefully. Sri Lankan as well as students joining from Sri Lanka as well as from other countries, right? Because it has to be a classroom exercise, we are told, and no point giving you an extended time, because then the whole purpose is lost. Okay, right. So the batch leaders could announce for 16D, indeed, Pavani, you can put tell that there will be an assessment on today's today's lecture. You can put that in the WhatsApp group. So people, whoever is going to be joining from abroad or from Sri Lanka or from anywhere in this world or somewhere in this world, of course, right? They could do the quiz, right? Right. Then let's go through this panel regression. What's this panel regression and why we need to learn data? That's today's main topic, right? Panel regression analysis. And this is the main issue, or this is the main reason why we need to learn data. Because unfortunately, in SPSS, we are unable to do panel regression. Right? I'll tell what's panel regression in short time with an example. But what you have to understand is that SPSS cannot perform panel regression analysis. It would perform only OLS regression, ordinary least squares regression. That's what it could do. And of course, there are other versions that it would perform, but not a panel regression. Not a panel regression. So what is a panel regression is what I'm going to teach you now. So that's why we need to learn Stata. Stata package has to be learned because of that. Because panel regression cannot be handled by SPSS yet. So now take a look at this example. Then you'll understand what's a panel regression, what's a panel, and what's a panel regression. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Now you can see, if I ask this question from you, the company is given, the year is given, the level of governance is given, level of governance measured in a scale 0 to 1, right? Then GOP is the gross operating profit, right? It's also given in a fraction, in a ratio, as a ratio. Now, if I ask you this question, right? How many observations are there in this data set? In this simple data set, how many observations are there?
9.
9. Very good. 9. Any other answers?
9.
9. Excellent. There are 9 observations. Very good. Excellent. However, how many companies are there? Observations. How many? Yes, there are 3 companies. A, B, and C. A, B, and C, there are 3 companies. 9 observations, but 3 companies. Now the problem is that, now if you run an OLS regression analysis, a normal regression analysis in SPSS, right? What it will do is it will consider each observation as a separate company, right? So if you run an OLS regression, what it will do is it will consider each of these observations as a separate company. It doesn't know that this is a panel. Oh, this company A, and it has given data for 2014, 15, 16. Same company for 3 different years, right? So it's not 3 different companies. The same company, 3 years. The level of governance and level of operating profit for 3 years it has given. But in SPSS, what it will do is it will consider each observation as a separate company. Is it correct? Can we take each observation here as a separate company?
No,
No,
sir.
no, exactly, no. So actually, these are panel. A is a panel because this is the same company. B is another panel. C is another panel. So you can see there are 3 panels here or 3 companies. So that's what in state of panel regression analysis, what it will do is rather than taking these as separate companies, it will take this as one panel and perform the panel regression. So it will take 3 panels or 3 groups, A, B, C. So that's the difference between a normal OLS regression and a panel regression. Is it clear? Is
Yes,
it clear?
sir.
Very good. Right? If it is not clear, you can put a chat message or you can ask me. I prefer you just verbally ask me. I'll be very happy to explain that verbally. Or you can ask me. There's no any problem. Right? Or you can put a chat message. But you have to be very specific on what did you not understand. I'll ask you what did you understand and what you did not understand. Okay. So I'm trying to clearly communicate the things today because we are going to have a quiz. Right? Just understand, just take it easy and understand it's not a rocket science. I'm trying to explain through examples and then I'll be performing stata panel regression analysis with you and then we can do the quiz. Okay, don't worry. And it's not going to be difficult at all, right? Last time I found out that the students a little bit found it difficult to understand t-test, right? And make decisions. Generally, the scoring was not so good. But again, today, I hope the students will do very well, right? Very well. So therefore, the only thing is listen carefully. It's not going to be difficult as you faced last time. But again, you have to attentively listen to this. So attentively listen to this. And also, if you have any problems, you can ask me. I prefer you verbally ask me. And now we have come a long way. We are no strangers. So if you do have any questions, we can clarify. Okay. So again, to tell, right, in SPSS, ordinary least squares regression, which we did, right, it will consider these observations as separate companies. 9 observations, 9 companies. But in fact, it is not the case. Yes, there are 9 observations, but there are 3 panels, 3 groups, or 3 companies. So to consider that, we need to now to take into consideration and perform, right, a regression on a panel basis or a group basis, we might need to do the panel regression analysis. But unfortunately, panel regression is not available in SPSS. And that's why we have to study stata. Right? Okay. Now let's try to understand what's stata and what's this package and all the dynamics. Right. How many of you got it installed? Even if you are not installed, don't worry. Watch this video, engage with me actively and clarify. So even if you have not got stata, there's no any problem. As I did last time and in all last instances, I'll be giving you the state output, SPSS state output, and then I will ask you to, answer some MCQs. Right, that's what we are going to do today. Right, how many of you got stata installed? Okay, very good. I can see his hands going up. Very good. Excellent. Right. So very nice. So I shared the link. So please do install that. But again, you don't need the package to do the MCQ. Just listen to it very carefully. Right. So I'm very happy to see that students got it installed. And today you can use that. The others, even if you are not got installed, don't worry. We'll we'll discuss that and I'll show you how to do the things. Then later on you can do that. Right. Now, once you install Stata, let's see how to open Stata. Right. And I'll then teach you different kind of things. Right. Right. Okay. Now, to open Stata, as we did earlier also, once you install Stata, you can go to the Windows search and you can type Stata. And yes, you will find Stata 1764-bit. MP stands for, you don't need to know that, but again, MP stands for Stata, MP stands for multiprocessor. So usually you can have single processor or multiprocessor. Now your computer has, usually modern computers has 8 cores, 16 cores likewise. So it has parallel processing abilities. So Stata could accommodate that. So Stata 17 is there. That's the, now you have 18, right? Stata 18. So 17 is very, very good enough. It's a very advanced package. And the good thing in Stata is once you install that, you can copy the files to a pen drive and run the program even from a pen drive, right? What you can install Stata. Now Stata gets installed, then go to the program files and you can copy. You can copy the program file contents in terms of Stata. It says Stata 17, and you can copy that in the program files, that folder. And you can put that into a pen drive, right? And then you can run that from any computer. You don't need administrative rights, or you don't need, now some people are using office computers, I understand. So to run Stata, you don't need, but first of all, of course, you should install that, or you should get it from someone who had installed in a pen drive, right? You can just copy that and paste it, and then you can run it. You can just download the files, or you can just copy the files into a pen drive, and you can run it. That's the best thing in Stata. You don't need to install it. In fact, first time you have to install it, and after that you can copy into your pen drive and you can run it from anywhere, right? In a pen drive, like I see, if it is in a Google Drive, then that's a problem because network version is required, and that has some issues. But on the other hand, you can just copy to a pen drive and you can run it from even any device, right? You don't need to have administrative rights. Just double click and Stata will run. Okay. So this is the Stata interface, right? So here is where you can see that in this particular area, the output will come. The output comes in this area. You will see that. And then here you can give commands. You can type commands and you can give commands. The commands can be hidden under this. This area is the command area. And then these are the menus. You can see, like we had SPSS analysis menu, you have statistics menu. And you can see thousands of analyses are there. Thousands of analyses. Compared to SPSS, this has number of analyses. It's a very, very versatile as well as advanced package. But I recommend this, how I learned the statistical packages. First, I learned SPSS, then I learned Stata. Why? Because learning SPSS is much more easy. Then you can navigate into Stata once you are matured. Right. So here you can see number of commands are there. Number of commands are there, and you can number of statistical analyses are there, and you can perform. Then once you perform an analysis, now once you open a database, in this particular area, you can see in the screen, in this particular area, the variables of the dataset will be visible. And then variable properties will be visible over here. And here you can see the commands that you had given will be listed. Already now you are going to pass commands from here, and the commands will be listed. In Stata, you can write the commands, which I usually do. And or you can, it's easy commands to remember. Right, today I'll be giving you certain commands, like basic commands. So you can also see what are those. Or what you can do is you can use the menu and you can run it. We'll use both. Then you will see how to do that. Right. So these the interface, and you can see graphics, the graphical things that you are going to do, pie charts, bar charts, everything is there. And these about data manipulation, if you want to create variables, record variables, etc., etc. Then likewise, different things are there. Okay. So for you, mainly statistics will be important. And also if you want, you can use the graphics menu. And so this is the basic interface of a Stata. And then if you want to see the data editor, I'll show you how to do that once we import first a file and then to Stata, and then we can see, we can perform certain commands. Okay. Now for this purpose, again go to the LMS Puta. Again go to the LMS. And then you can see that there are certain files, right? So we will choose, please download all these files. Right? Please download all these files. Right? And there's a file called session, CG and profitability, CG, right? Likewise, different things are there. So please download all these files. And I'm going to use this file, session, CG and profitability. So session, CG and profitability. So I downloaded it. That's an Excel file. I'm going to open that file now. Now it's in my download folder. Huge file, isn't it? Right, let's see what's there. You can see the observations are there. These are the observations. This file, the observations are given. Observation is that the number of observations that are there, right? Okay, there are 192 observations. Then you have the company name, right? Abans Electricals is there. Then it's given for a year. Abans in 2007, 2012 data is given. Then ACL is given, right? Okay, likewise, different companies are given. Now my question to you, right? What kind of a structure do you see? A panel structure or a non-panel structure do you see? One structure at the pane. What kind of structure do you see?
Panel structure.
Very good, indeed. Why panel structure? Yes, you can see, excellent. You can see, yes, these one set. And I have given the term group. And become variable name as a group. So for the first company set, I have given number 1. For the second company, 2. Likewise, you can see I have defined a panel variable as well. The year variable is there, as well as the panel variable is there. So likewise, how many companies are there? There are 32 companies. 32 companies are there. And then you have the growth of the company, sales growth, then the gross operating profit, size, again growth, right? Leverage. How do you compute leverage? You take the, right, debt divided by total assets. Then size of the company, right? It's given in natural logarithm. The size is very large, so we have converted that to the natural logarithm. Then the corporate governance. The corporate governance status, right? And you have the leverage again. And the CEO gender is given, and the CEO education is also given to a certain extent. Right? Don't worry about these two variables. We are going to use the other variables, right? Okay. Now you can see here these are the variable, and you can see the first row is there. The first row is allocated or devoted for the variable names. Can you see that? One row as now I told you, when you want to import, now I'm trying to import this file to Stata for doing the analysis, panel data analysis. Now this is an Excel file. Now I told you, you can remember when it came to importing Excel file to SPSS, the first row of the data set should be what? The variable names. The first row of the data set should be the variable names, right? Okay. Variable name should be the first row. And then we have the observations. And you can see the variable names. Now, company name. Why I have put an underscore here? Why did not I leave a space? And remember those. In SPSS as well as in Stata, you don't recognize, right? Variable names cannot have spaces. And it should not start with numbers, no duplicates, etc. was there. Can you remember? I explained all those things. So please follow the same rules. Yes. Okay. Right. Now, once you do that, now you have a familiarity with this dataset. Now let's see how to import this dataset into Stata. So please take down importing, right? Please take down importing MS Excel data. MS stands for Microsoft, right? MS Excel data to Stata. Right? So step number one. What's step number one? Structure the Excel file properly. Right? Structure the Excel file properly. So this one you have to keep in mind. This is where you structure the dataset properly. Where you have your first row, the variable names. There are no blank columns. There are no blank rows. And the names have to be written in a consistent and proper way. So likewise, we have structured it properly. Okay. So that's step number one. Step number two, close the Excel file. Step number two, close the Excel file. That's the best practice. Once you are going to import, now it's in the download folder. Now close this. You might save it or whatever. Close it. All right. And now step number three, go to Stata. Right. Go to Stata that you opened. Right. Or you can say open a fresh Stata session. So you have opened a fresh SPSS session. Fascinating, isn't it? Fresh SPSS session. Yeah, then open velati. We have got a fresh SPSS session. Right? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Is that clear? Very good. Give me a moment, Puta. So take some time to do that, and if you have any questions, you can ask me. Right? Give me a moment. Yes. Yeah. Now let's see how to import. So this is the third step, right? Open a fresh Stata session, right? Then now let's see how to import the file, the Excel file. So go to file. Now take down this, right? Go to file, go to import, then go to Excel spreadsheet. File, import, Excel spreadsheet. Is it clear, Puta? File import Excel spreadsheet. Right? Is it fine? And then click on this. Now please take down these things. There's no any urgency, no any hurry, right? We shall do that gradually, right? File import Excel spreadsheet and click on that. Then it says, okay, where's the Excel file? So you can browse it. I'm going to browse and I'm going to go to my download folder. Maybe in your case, it might be somewhere else. It's in my download folder. So I went to my download folder. Maybe it's in your desktop or somewhere, right? Then you can choose that. I just download it from the LMS. Now you can see session, CG and profitability is there. Right? So that's the Excel file which we structured properly and closed it. And under step number 3, now we have opened this state a fresh session and we are running. Then you choose that and you say open. Then it asks what's the worksheet. There was only one worksheet in that Excel set. And then it has chosen that one, which was, I think you can remember, it was as given the name was database. And then the range is also selected automatically. And you can see, import the first row as variable names. Always tick this because the first row is the variable names. Now it says ABCD, which is wrong. So therefore tick this. Now you can see, right, the column headings became the variable names. So make sure that you tick this, what? Import first row as variable names. Right? Is that clear, Buddha?
Yes.
Very good. And you will then press OK. Now you can see, this is the command we had given. This is the command we had given. It wrote it, right? Import Excel. You don't need to remember these commands, but just to remember what commands were passed and some basic commands you might need to remember. So it says import Excel and then it gives the location. It was in my download folder, right? And then it said from the sheet database and first row should be considered as what? As the row, the variable names. And then it had got 14 variables and almost 210 observations. So that's one you want to pass. And you can see here, the command that you passed is recorded. And you can copy if you want. Copy this and paste anywhere that you want, right? For future references. And I'll teach you about the do file after this and tell you how to automate things. And you can see on the other hand, the variables, the 14 variables are listed in this particular area. This particular menu, right? Pane. You can see on the menu is the pane. So in this particular pane, you can see the panel, it gives what are the variables. And here you can see the properties of each variable is given. For an example, if I go to group variable, the property of that variable is given. But you cannot yet see the data. Now in SPSS, there was a separate data view and a variable view. But here you don't have that in one panel, right? So for that, you have to give a small command here, right? You go to the command here over here, and you can have two commands. One is the browse command. You can type browse, all simple, BROWSE, browse, right? That's a command, right? Just you can record it, right? Browse command will view the data file, the data that you import. So just type browse, BROWSE, and just enter. Then you can see the data editor opens. And now everything is imported from Excel to state. Can you see that? And but if you try to, make any amendments, it won't allow. Now you don't need to do this, but I'm trying to make it, let's say 2024, let's say for an example, under the year, I'm trying to make it 2024. It doesn't allow because I gave the browse command to browse the data set. Right now, I'm going to close this particular data editor browse window, and I'll go back to the data window. So what's the command I gave? Browse. So browse is to browse the data set. You can take down. But on the other hand, if you want to edit the data set, then you can give the edit command. Edit. And enter. You don't need to do this, but I'm going to just show you. Now, let's say I want to make it 2024. Don't do this, right? 2024. Now it allows me to do 2024 because I used the edit command. And I'm going to undo that. Right, again, 2007. Likewise, you can now edit. Now, if you want to edit the contents of the data file, you can use the edit command. But on the other hand, even if gave these things for you, it's not applicable, right? If you want to edit the contents of the data file, you can use the edit command. If you want to just browse the content, you can use the browse command. So please take down these commands, right? Browse and the edit commands. Browse commands will browse the data set. Edit command will edit the data set, which opens in a separate window. Right? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Good. And you can see now, let's do a small descriptive analysis. Let's say I want to take the description or a kind of descriptive statistics for these variables. Let's say I want for the, let's say, gross operating profit, what's the mean value and standard deviation. Likewise, let's say I'm interested. So how to do that? How to get that, right? Then for size, for growth, leverage. So I need certain, let's say, descriptive statistics. How to generate that? For that, you can use the summarize command. Right? Summarize. Okay. How to do that? Okay. So what you'll be doing is you will type summarize. Summarize. ZD, right? Not SC, it's ZD. Summarize, and then you can give the variable. Summarize, you type summarize over here, and you get the variable. Let's give the variable as GOP. You can type GOP, and you can give lever. Right? You type lever, and let's say CG for corporate governance index. That's the variable, and there are other variables, and we can even give growth as a growth. Right. Now, then what it will do is it will give summary statistics for these 4 variables. Now, spellings has to be exactly same as in the way that is given right here under the name of the each variable. GOP all capital likewise, right? And if you enter, then you can see a nice table comes over here, but not nice as in SPSS, right? SPSS එක තරම් nice නෑ. නමුත් you can see it's not like nice as SPSS, but it gives the table. And if you want, you can right click on this and copy table and go and paste it to an Excel file. Right? Or you can copy it as a picture if you want. Right? You can see now for the GOP, the mean value is 36% and the standard deviation is 31. Minimum is minus 1.7 and maximum is 183. Likewise, Puta, you have these values. Right? Now you have summary, right? You have summary statistics. But let's say I want to know a little bit more detailed descriptive statistics. Right now you can take down, right? Now take down each of these things. And you can see each of the commands I pass is listed here. It says, okay, summarize, GOP, lever, CG, and grow. It's already there. Right? Clear? Then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask it to give me some detailed descriptive statistics. Detailed descriptive statistics. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here, copy this earlier command, copy the earlier command and paste it in the command window. So it says summarize GOP and I'm going to put a comma here at the end of growth. At the end of growth, you put a comma and you type detail. Summarize GOP, lever, CG, grow, and I've said detail, comma detail. That means I will say, okay, I need more details. Then it gives quite a large detail, isn't it? Each variable right now. Early it was just a summary table. This was the earlier table, but now see summary GOP detail. So for GOP now it gives a much more analysis. So you can see for GOP, again the average value was how much? 36, which we got earlier. It was 36. And the standard deviation, yes, we got earlier this amount. But now the skewness and kurtosis are given. And also the median is given. The 5th percentile is given. The 25th percentile is there. That's Q1. Q2 is the 50th percentile. And Q3 is the 75th percentile. So all these are given. So I gave the parameter here just after the main command, summarize, GOP, lever, CG, and grow, comma, I gave detail. So you can get a detailed, right, description, right? Now early it was just some, now when I gave just summarize, GOP, lever, and grow, it gave only some basic descriptive statistics like mean, standard deviation, minimum, and maximum. But now if I gave detail, the parameter, the option detail, right, it gives several statistics. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Excellent. Now you have given how many commands? You had from import command to detailed summary command, you have got how much? Now here I have got 2 additional commands that which you did not do. So let me delete this. You did not do that. So up to now you should have given 5 commands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the commands you should have given. If you had done it with me, I did 3 additional commands for my purposes, but you did not do that. I did not tell that as well. So you have 5 commands. Now say you want to run it tomorrow again on the same file or maybe different file. Maybe you have the same file but with new data. Then what you can do is you can save these commands for later use. Right? You can then run these commands. You don't need to again type anything or select anything. You can run these commands by keeping it in a separate file. In SPSS also you could do that by using the syntax command, but again in Stata it's very easy to run again and again the same commands. If you are going to use the same file or even a different file, you can change the name of the file and you can run it. So that's called the do editor. Now please take down the do file. Please take down a small topic, the do file in Stata. The do file, DO, right? Do file. Do file in Stata. The 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 do file in Stata. What's this do file? As the name says, it will do things that you tell it to do, right? But you have to tell it what to do. Right. Now to access the do file, that's where you can, now you can take a small note, right? Under that, what you wrote down. where you can take down. The do file is where, the do file is where, please take down. The do file is where you could save, you could save, you could save and execute, and execute, and execute stata commands, and execute stata commands, and execute stata commands. Okay. Okay. Now let's see how to open a do file and save the commands, the 5 commands that we had given. Right? Shall we do it? So here you can see, right? If you go and hover your mouse over here, it says what? New do file editor. Here, can you see that? New do file editor. There's a small notepad with a pen, because that's where you're going to save your commands. That's why it says a small notepad with a pen. Did you locate that, Puta? Can someone confirm me if you are doing it with me? Indeed, which I encourage you to do. But even if you are not doing that, no problem. Right? New do file editor. Just click on this new do file editor. New file opens. A new file should open. In my case, it's still opening. It's open. Okay, yeah. So this is the do file, which is a separate another file. So I'll just, it was maximized, and then the data main window is this. I'll little bit up maximize, unmaximize that, and you can now see that there are 2 files. One is the data main window, and then you have the do file. Right? Can you see that? If you cannot see the do file, you go to data. Now you can see in the Windows status bar down here, you have 2 views, the data main window view as well as the do file view. And that's it. Okay. Now here you can save your files, your commands. Now what I can do is, now since I got here, I will now copy these commands. I'm going to copy, I'm going to put, right, I'm going to select the first command in the data main window, and then I'm going to press what? Shift and select the other commands as well. Or you can copy one by one. There's no problem. So if you want, you can copy this. Or you can select the first one and then go to shift, press shift and select the next. Right, you select the whole and then you go to copy. And then you will go to the do file editor and you'll paste it. Now you can see all your commands are pasted. Right, and you can execute that from here, which I'll show you later. Right? And now these are all the commands you passed, and you can save it. And how to save this do file? As you save any file, you can go to file, you can go to save, and you can save it anywhere. Okay, let's save it in my desktop. Right, I'm going to go to my desktop and I'm going to save it all there in a particular file for SAP, a folder for SAP, let's say. It takes time for me, right? My computer takes certain extraordinary time to access my desktop. May sir. Okay, it came. Right. So let's see the SAB folder. So let's create an SAB folder. So, and you can give a name after that, right? Once you save it. So I'm creating an SAB folder and I'm going to save this do file there for later use, then I can use them. And I'll show you, right? This is very, very important to create a do file. And you can go over here and you can your name, a sensible name, my do commands. Give any name, give your own name, but make sure that do, the do, is the extension. And you can save. Now these commands are saved in the do file. And also, if you want to put comments now, those are not commands, those are comments. Those won't get executed, right? Right. Okay. Now, if you want to run the commands now from the do file, what you have to do is it's very easy. Now, let's say if you want to run the browse command, if you want to run the browse command, you will select the browse and then you will use this button, execute the selection. Can you see it? Execute the selection. Then the browse command and the browse, the data editor, open in the browse mode. I'm going to close it. Then if you want to run this summarize command, you can run this as you can select the particular command and you can run it. Okay, it got run. And if you want to run the detailed one, you can select it. You don't need to again retype that. It's there. And also, if you want, you can put now, if you want to leave spaces, you can leave spaces. So I left a long space from here and I can put a comment. Right? A comment in Stata is not a command, but for your reference, you can put a small comment. How you are going to put a comment? Put an asterisk. Put an asterisk and then you can write it. I'll say the following command summarizes the variables in detail. Right, twice. You can give a comment. Now, if I execute this, this won't get executed. Right? Because I put an asterisk and you can see the comments are in green color. Right? The commands in blue color. The variables are in black color with its options. Now, if I run this, if I select both of these, and if I run this, it will run, and that will be recorded as just a comment. Okay? A comment was there. It won't get, But if I don't put an asterisk and run that, it will give an error message. You don't need to do that. Let's say I did not put the asterisk, and if I try to run that, it will give an error message. It says what here? Command the is not recognized because that starts with the, it thinks it's a command. So therefore, make sure that you put an asterisk mark, and then it becomes what? Green color. So therefore, you select this and now execute that, it will get executed. So that's where you can have do command, and even you can run all the commands by importing again. But before you run again everything, right? Now, if you try to run this, it will say can't. Why? Because already data is available in the memory, right? So in that case, what we shall do is we shall say clear. First, give the clear command to clear the memory, right? If I don't give that, let's say, if I don't do that, and if I try to run this command, it will say can't. It says what? No, it didn't import again. Why? It says data in memory will be lost. But on the other hand, if I want to clear the data, which is there already, I can say clear. And then I can run this command. Let's put some space over here. Right, I can select these two commands and I can run it. Now it import. Now without an issue, it imported fresh. So likewise, this is the clear command to clear the memory in Stata. and you can use this floppy drive button to save the do file contents. Okay, so this is how you would use the do file to save commands, and it's a very easy way to run commands again and again. In SPSS also there's syntax, but not easy as Stata. In Stata, it's very easy to write these commands and run these commands. Right? Is that clear? A do file will save a lot of time. Now, next time when you get new data or whatever, you can just run these commands because the commands are saved. Right? And you can put comments and you can use it for later reference and save thousands of hours or even millions of hours, right, that you had wasted maybe by giving again and again and again the same command on similar data. Okay. Is that clear, Buddha? Right. Now, let's try to run a simple regression in Stata. Let's see how to run a simple regression in Stata. So for that, I'm going to use the do file editor, or you can use the command prompt here. There's no problem, but let me write in the do file, the same thing. So I'm going to put a small comment, right? I put a small asterisk over here and I'll say OLS regression. OLS regression. This already least squares regression. This is not panel regression. This is the same regression that I would have run in SPSS. So the command is regress. Right, regress. OLS regression in Stata, you call it regress. And then you put the dependent variable. After regress, you put the dependent variable. What's the dependent variable here? Gross operating profit. And then you can put your independent variables. You have CG, you have lever, and you have grow. Regress. Right. First put the dependent variable. First put the dependent variable with this gross operating profit. What he says, gross operating profit is impacted by these three variables. Right? Corporate governance variable, leverage variable, and growth variable. Right? These what we call the OLS regression. OLS regression. The OLS regression. Right? Shall we run it? So if you run this, now you can select this particular command. You can do that over here as well, right? I'm running from the do command, do file. So regress, and I can execute that. Now comes the OLS regression. It's quite different from SPSS, but same thing is there. You can see it says number of observation 131. Oh, what it has done is it has considered all 131 observations as separate companies because it's OLS, right? Regress is the OLS regression, right? But then we'll be using a separate regression for the panel analysis, which I'll teach you later, right? First OLS regression. But here, that unfortunate thing is that it has considered all the observation, 131 observation as separate companies. And then it says whether the F test is significant. This is the ANOVA table, what we find in SPSS. And unfortunately, it says the probability is above 0.05. So we conclude the overall model is not valid. The overall model is not valid, right? Unfortunately, right? Okay. It's not valid. That's what it says. And the R squared is given. It's only 2%. The R squared is, the adjusted R squared is even low. So it's only 2%, like as it gives. Then when you look at the coefficient table over here, this PT is a sig value. PT is sig value. Now CG is not significant at all, right? It's above 0.05. Then leverage is also above 0.05. So growth has been omitted due to multicollinearity. Right? Multicollinearity growth has been omitted. So overall, what you could say is gross operating profit is not influenced by corporate governance, and leverage. And indeed by growth. Growth has not even been considered. So that's your conclusion. You might have thought better the corporate governance, better the gross operating profit. No, that's not the case. Because it's not significant. The SIG value is looked at from here. And in SPSS, this is called a SIG value. Here it's the P value. Probability value. SIG value is the probability. Okay. So this is how you perform a normal ordinary least square regression. Just put up, please go ahead. Someone had a question? Just put up. Did someone have a question, or was it a a small mistake? Okay. If you don't have any questions, put up, please ask. So that's how you would run an oil regression. Then after the break, we'll now have a small break. And after the break, we will discuss how to run a panel regression. Right? You will get the same result if you run this particular one, regress. You will get the same thing. You will get the same thing, right? If you run the same, you will get in SPSS. SPSS එක normal regression එකක එන output එක තමයි ආවේ. So now after that, after the break, we will see how to run a panel regression. Right? How to run a panel regression is what I'm going to teach you. For that, we have to do certain things, and we have to see what specifications. Likewise, is a little bit intricate. So after this, we'll discuss after taking a small break. It's almost 9:40, right? So we'll take a almost 20-minute break, and we'll take a break, and we'll meet at 10, and we'll proceed with how to perform a panel regression, right, in Stata. Right. For that, I'm going to give you some new commands, and I'll put the commands even into maybe the message, right, of what you call this, Teams, right? Teams messaging, feature. I'll use that as well to give you certain commands, so you can run it by putting that to the do file and or directly running it. Okay. Right. Okay. Any questions? Is that clear? Clear. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's clear. Okay. Right. In that case, we'll take a small break, and we will meet at 10 p.m. 10 a.m. not p.m. My God. 10 a.m. after 20 minutes. Okay. Okay, students. Thank you. We'll meet at 10 a.m. after 20 minutes. Students, welcome back. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Pata, thank you very much. Excellent. So now let's continue our discussion. Now, this is the OLS regression. Though, even if you run this regression using SPSS, you will get the same result. You will get the same result, right? But however, the problem is that now this considered the observations as separate companies. So there are 131, right? There are 131 observations, right? As you can remember. But there are about 30 companies, but 131 observations. So you can see it has considered this as separate observations. This is OLS. Yeah, this way. This is the OLS regression. But now we need to run a panel regression because there are about 30 to 32 companies. So how to run a panel regression is what I'm now going to teach you. Now, in running a panel regression, I have written down certain steps. There are two specifications, right? I have given a small note over here as well. There are two specifications, the fixed effect specification as well as random effect specification, right? Here, what it means is basically how it treats the error term. How it is now, for an example, fixed effect assumes that the error term is constant. The random effect assumes it follows a normal distribution, a probability, some probability distribution. Don't worry about that. Just understand that there are two specifications that you can run a panel regression, fixed or random. I have given more notes on that, but just understanding the fixed effect model and the random effect model means that there are two specifications. That's the specification is different based on how you treat the error term, right? Then how to decide what specification is correct? For that, you run a test called Hausmann test. Hausmann test could be run easily to understand whether it's a fixed effect model that you have run or a random effect model you have run, right? And based on the Hausmann test result, right, I'll tell you how to do it. That's some theory. Okay. Now you can see here, I have given these notes. Now I'll be putting that to the, as I told you, in running a panel regression analysis. So I'll call it panel regression analysis. Panel regression analysis. Now you have to follow certain steps. So step number one, you can see this is a comment because this is in green color, this is a comment. Step number one, what you have to do is you have to set the panel. You have to tell Stata what are the panel variables. The group variable, that's the company, set of a company, that's a group, and the period variable, which was given as here. So you have to tell XT set. XT set means you are telling, okay, what's the panel variable as well as group variable, because Stata doesn't know what's the panel and what's the year. So we have to tell it. So first you have to pass this command. That's step number one. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to put that to the chat. Right. So you can also. So I'm going to put in that to the chat. So this is step number one. So you can copy that and you can put it to your own do file. Did you get that chat message, Buddha? So I put it to the Teams chat. Okay. Can someone tell me whether you got it?
No, sir.
No? You did not get it. Okay. Then don't worry. I'll put to that WhatsApp. So I will put it to WhatsApp, right? So let's go to WhatsApp. Avani and Mulu. Have you got a WhatsApp group for your entire team? දෙකම එකතු වෙලා WhatsApp group එකක් හදාගත්තේ නැද්ද? නෑ sir ඒවා අපි කරන්නේ. Don't worry, don't worry. Right. Okay, let's go to Pavani. Okay, Pavani is there. Okay. So let me put the entire commands then in one shot. It's there. Right. So I'll give all these commands, the 3 steps, parallel regression analysis. Then I don't need to bother you again and again. Okay. Right. Now let's go to Mule. Okay. So Mulu and Pavani kindly circulate this among your group, among your batchmates, right? Because unfortunately, this is the Teams chat is not working for certain students because you have to join, I think, by using, we have to log in and do different things. I don't know. It's a bit intricate, right? So therefore, let's use WhatsApp. Okay. Right. Right. Now, did you get that now, Puta?
Yes.
Excellent. Good. Very good. So please circulate it. I'll give you 1 or 2 minutes to circulate it among all the batchmates. Okay. So please circulate it all among all the batchmates. Okay. I think all have got that. Very good. So in that case, now you can execute step number 1. You can copy and paste that. If you want, you can copy that and paste that to the, to the do file, as I have done here. Parallel regression analysis. You can copy the first one and you can copy the entire set like this, as I have done. And then copy this, right, and put into your do file, or you can copy that to the command window as well. You can copy it as a to command window as well. There's no problem, whatever. So you can now copy that to the do file and then you can execute that and run this. Then it says, once you run it, it says what? XT set group here. The first one is a comment. So make sure that the asterisk is there before it. And you can see it understood. Right? Panel variable is group, time variable is year, and the year ranges from 2007 to 2012, and delta is 1 unit. That means it goes 1 by 1. 2008, 2008, 2009, 2010. Likewise, the increment is 1 year. So it has understood. Then step number 2 will run the panel regression analysis using the 2 specifications. Now, the panel regression, now earlier, the OLS regression, we use the regress command. But for the panel regression, remember, you are using the xtreg command. Can you see it? Xtreg command. And then you can give the dependent variable GOP and the 3 independent variables and put a comma and put the fixed effect model. So this is the fixed effect specification. Then give the same thing and put a comma and put the random effect specification. Fixed effects and the random effect. Fixed effect specification is there and the random effect specification is there. Fixed effects and random effects. Right? Fixed effects and random effects. Right? It's the 2 assumptions. It's based on 2 assumptions on how you treat the error term. That's what you need to know. That's There are certain intricate explanations, but you don't need to know about that. Just understand that there are two models that you can run for this regression. Fixed effect model as well as a random effect model. So fixed effect specification and the random effect specification. Okay. So then we can run the first specification, fixed effect specification. Now as you can see, XTREG, the dependent variable GOP, and the three independent variables. So I'm going to run the fixed effect specification. I'm going to select this and I'm going to execute that. Or you can copy and paste and pass it from the command window. There's no problem. Yes, I ran it. Now see the difference. Now you can see fixed effect, right? And it says observation 131, groups there are 30. 30 companies it has considered. And you can see now the model is significant. The F test indicates the model is significant. And if you look at the corporate governance variable, it's also significant, but growth has been omitted due to collinearity, and leverage is not significant. Cons is what? The constant value. That's the intercept. So yes, under fixed effect specification, the CG is what? CG is significant predictor. Significant affects the GOP, the dependent variable. Now let's run the random effect model. You select the random effect model, the second model. XTREG, GOP, CG, grow, leverage, and RE, and run that. Under that, you can see just the overall model is again valid. And you can see again here there are 30 groups or 30 companies. And yes, again the CG is significant, but leverage is not significant. And growth has been omitted due to collinearity. It says grow omitted because of collinearity. On the top, it gives a small note. Now the problem comes, what model to use with its fixed effect or random? So that's where you go to the step 3. In step 3, you are going to run the Houseman test. So here to run the Houseman test, you have to run all these together. You have to select this set together and run it. First you say XTREG, the fixed effect model, and you say to store the estimates, right? Then you run the random effect model and you ask to store the estimates. And then you run the Houseman test. You don't need to remember these things, but just understand to decide whether it's a fixed effect model or random effect model, you have to run the Houseman test. If you can remember that, that's it. Right? In the exam, I won't ask you to write these things by memory. No way. Right? In the exam, what I'll be doing is, as well as for the quiz, I'll be doing is, I'll be giving you the output and asking you the output to interpret the output. That's all. I don't expect you to remember the commands, these commands, but the basic commands, of course, you have to remember that. For an example, to summarize, the summarize command, then summarize in detail, summarize command detail. So those kind of basic commands you will have to remember, but not these intricate commands on, Houseman test and those kind of things. No one could remember, right? Therefore, don't worry about that. Right? So now, what specification to use? Is it the fixed effect specification or the random effect specification? If it's fixed effect or random effect. Now to decide that, you have to run all these set together. XTREG till Houseman, right? You select these together and run it. It ran together and it gives the of the Houseman test, it gives the probability value of the chi-square test. So that's what's important. It says it's 0.64. Now remember this very well. So I've got a note here as well. I'll give you this note again. The probability of the chi-square test under the Houseman test is 0.644. Remember this very well. If this probability value is above 0.05, right, it's not significant. You have to say not significant. It is insignificant, right? Not significant, because if it is less than 0.05, it's significant. Not significant, then you should use the random effect model. But if this probability value that you get under Houseman test is above 0.05, you have to use what? The random effect model. Therefore, the random effect model should be used. Therefore, finally, you have to use the RE specification, random effect model, because the chi-squared value, the probability of the chi-squared test is above 0.05. So finally, therefore, you can select this one. This is the final thing that you are going to report in your analysis. Because all others were testing. And finally, your regression is this. So you can run, because it's random effect, because it's the chi-squared probability is about 0.05. So you can run this, select this and run this. And this is the final regression that you are going to report in your thesis or in your article. So the random effect model, and you can say, okay, based on this model, you can say that the CG has a significant what effect? So significant negative effect, isn't it? So let's copy this. So you can copy it as an image if you want, copy as picture, and then you can put that into a Word file or whatever. Okay, so you can see very clearly here, it's not negative, it's a positive one. So it has, corporate governance has a significant, because it's less than 0.05, a significant positive impact on the gross operating profit, right? On the gross operating profit, there's a significant positive impact because the p-value is less than 0.05. Growth has no any impact. In fact, it has been removed because of collinearity. And then lever is the p-value, the sig value is above 0.05. So we conclude that there is no impact on that as well. Constant is the intercept, we don't interpret that. So basically, this is what you say. Finally, your final conclusion is corporate governance has a positive impact on gross operating profit. So what's your recommendation? Can someone give me the recommendation? What's the recommendation? Increase corporate governance to increase performance of a financial performance of the company. So likewise, you can decide the what? You can decide the recommendation based on your result. Is it clear? I took step by step and I explained how to perform this analysis. And then I have got a note over here also, which I'll again give that to you, right? Note. So let me give this note, which I did not give because this is based on the result. So which I go back to WhatsApp. Okay. So Pawan is there. So Pawani. So this is the final result, and that's why you are going to run the random. Then let's put it to me. Right. So you can share this as well. So finally, you'll be running this, and you get out. So again, if I summarize what we did under Stata, right? Just if I summarize, because we are going to have the quiz after this, probably. So I explained to you what's Stata. If I ask this question from you, why we have to use Stata? Because SPSS cannot understand the difference between a company and an observation, a panel and observation. So that's why we had to use Stata. Then we use the import command to import Excel file data into Stata. So we ran this without any issue, we got it. Right? And then I taught you about the browse command. Remember that, right? Browse command browses the content of the imported data file. It shows the data. Edit command. What's the difference between browse and edit command?
Browse command allows us to just browse the data, but in edit command, we can edit the data and make amendments.
Excellent. Excellent. That's the answer. Right? Complete Correct answer. Browse command, as you very correctly told, Pavani told. In the browse command, what you do is you can browse the data, right? It views the data out. But in the edit command, as you very correctly told, you can make amendments in the data. Very good. Then we use the summarize command for that to get basic descriptive statistics for certain variables, right? So if I ran this, it gave the basic descriptive. But if I wanted the total, full descriptive statistics, I give the same with an option. By putting a comma, I put an option detail. Then you get all with details, right? The descriptive statistics with details. Then I taught you how to run an OLS regression in Stata, which will be the same if you do in SPSS, because it's the OL. So OLS regression is regress command in Stata as well as in SPSS, it's regression command. There again, this is the dependent variable and the three independent variables are given. But the problem is under this one, OLS regression, you understood that the observations, each observations, there are 131 observations are taken separately, right? They are taken as separate companies, which is completely wrong, right? There are about 32 companies. So it's a panel structure that you have. The data is in a panel structure. You have 30 companies and 131 observations or 32 observations that are relevant to them. So that's why we thought of doing a panel regression. In doing a panel regression, there are 3 steps. Step number 1, you will have to set the panel. You have to tell Stata what's the grouping variable and what's the period variable. So here group is the variable we use for panel and here is the period variable. So you tell XT set, you ask the Stata to set the group as well as the year accordingly. Then afterwards, I told you that in running a panel regression, the panel regression command is xtreg, and you again give the dependent variable and the independent variables. But I told you in Stata, you have what? 2 models, 2 specifications that you can run the panel regression. What are those? What are those? What are those
Fixed
2?
effect and random effect.
Very good. Excellent. So the fixed effect and the random effect specifications. Very nice. Right? Excellent. So then how to decide whether it's fixed effect specification or random effect specification? How to decide?
Houseman test.
Very good. You are running the Houseman test. You are running the Houseman test. Now to run the Houseman test, you have to run this total set together. And then you get the Houseman test what? The probability value. Here, earlier we got this. So the probability or the sig value of the Houseman test is, of the chi-square test underperformed on the Houseman test is 0.6444. So I told you, if this value is above 0.05, run the random effect model. That means it's not significant. If significant is less than 0.05, right? Then run the random effect model. So therefore, the random effect model should be used. So that's the final model out of these 2 specifications that you have to set. You had 2 specifications now. Now you decided it's going to be random effect. And that's why we finally ran the random effect. And this is what you have to report in your thesis, not anything else. This is the final version that you have to send. And based on that, so we got this random effect model run. And we understood that corporate governance has a significant positive impact, because here the significance level is given. These are the intervals, right? These at the end, these are the intervals. Don't look at that. You have to look at the sig level is given in this column. Right? In this column, it gives the sig value. So this is less than 0.05. So corporate governance is a significant variable. Okay. So this is what we discussed. Right? Anything not clear? Is it clear? Clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I took very slowly and gradually because we are going to have an assessment, right? So therefore, that as anyone could understand, I tried to explain it to you, right? Okay. Now high time to test this knowledge, is it? And me knowledge about a test call. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's a good idea. Is it a good idea? 4 weeks. So what I will do is now, I will, let's first of all, let me check whether I got the assessment ready. Right. Give me a moment. Okay. Yeah. So in this assessment that I'm going to give you, there are a few questions, right? There are a few questions that you have to answer about. There are about 10 questions. Again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the data output, right? I'm going to give you the data output and I'm going to ask you certain questions based on that. You don't need to have data at all, right? So let me explain it a little bit more. Right, let me explain it a little bit more. Right. Okay, let me share my screen, right? Hope you can see my screen. Can you see my screen? Right. Now, these what I'm going to share with you. This is the MCQ quiz, right? And then there you'll be given a link to open this state output. This is the state output in 2 pages. And based on this state output, which has descriptive statistics, OLS regression, panel regression, right? All things are there. So based on that, you ask 10 questions. Some are theory questions indeed, so you don't need the output. And some are non-theory questions, right? Based on the output you have to answer. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this file with you. Right? This link with you, file, the link with you. Okay. So since some students face difficulty, I'm going to put it under the chat, right? As well as I'm going to put it under the WhatsApp messages, right? So yes, okay. So let me a little bit stop share the screen, right? And take this question here. Okay, so let me put it to the WhatsApp because that's quite very fast. And let me put it to the official purpose. Let me put it to this chat as well. All right. I'll put it everywhere. So first I'll put it under the chat. Right. I'll put it to Pawan. So you got 10 minutes, right? So by 10, now it's 10:20, what? 10:28.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Excuse me, sir. Sir,
Yes,
can
brother.
you share it to the LMS?
All right, no problem. So if you want,
Thank
we
you, sir.
can put it. Yeah, why not?
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
Buddha.
you.
So I'll put into the LMS Buddha. I think that's reasonable. Yeah. Yeah. ඒක කාටත් හොඳයි නේද? ඒක හරි. නැත්නම් WhatsApp එක that's informal thing. No? So what I'll do is, right, let me share my screen again. And okay, that's a good idea. It's formal and it's the way it should be. Okay. So let me go to your LMS. So make sure that you are in the LMS, right? And let me go to this particular link. So package-based data analytics. And yeah, that's how we have done earlier as well. Thank you, Putta, for that suggestion. So let me put quiz 3. නැත්තම් register වෙච්ච දරුවෝ නැති ඉන්න පුළුවන්. group වල නැති දරුවෝ ඉන්න පුළුවන්. So therefore, go to this link and now I'm going to put it, right? So let me duplicate this one. Okay. Right. Okay. So let's let me first put the quiz as quiz 3. Right, let me edit the settings. Still, it won't be visible for you, right? And then you have to refresh the LMS to get access. So let's say save. And let me first check whether it's working. Quiz 3. Yeah, it's working. Okay, that's good. So let me come back. Right. Now, still you cannot see that, right? So I'm going to hide the older quizzes. Parna quiz ටික ඉස්සෙල්ලා නැත්තම් ඒක මේවා කරනවා. Alright. Quiz number 2 also hide. Right. Now let me show the quiz number 3. So Buddha, now refresh your screen. In the LMS, please refresh your screen and you will see online quiz 3. What you need to do is you have to just go and click on this link. Refresh karan. Refresh karan. And go to quiz number 3. Then go to this link. Once you go there, there's on the top, there's a link, right? So it will take you to that document, right? Then come back to the quiz and answer these 10 questions. In 2 places, your full name and your registration number. It will be shuffled, the questions will be shuffled. So your full name and your registration number is asked. So give the full name and the full registration number. Okay, now it's 10:32, right? We will finish the quiz at 10:42, right? I'm going to give you full 10 minutes. If you face any difficulty, please let me know. You have got 6 minutes more. You have 3 minutes more. You have 2 minutes more. Just 1 minute more. Right, the time is over. Okay, the time is over. Right. Okay, thank you. So thank you for your contribution and and the things. So now the gateway will be closed. Okay, right. So for some reason, I'm not going to show you the marks like yet. So I'm going to process it. Let me take it. Okay, let me take information through an Excel file. Okay. So I'm extracting the information. Insert to the column to the left. Okay. Well, let's keep it as it is and do this. New file. Copy and paste it over here. So I'm doing certain manipulations. Please hold on, right? So left. Right. Okay, I'm extracting the marks. Here we have got good marks. But we have got not so good marks as well, as was the case in the previous instances. But again, let's take the name and your registration number. Okay. So yeah. Okay, I'm getting the marks. Right. Actually, what I have got the maximum mark is 9. No one has got about 10. So I will add all students 1 mark. Good. So there will be, so I'm going to give a bonus mark to all. So there will be students who have got 10. Okay. Bonus. That's bonus. Bonus දෙන්නත් එපානේ. Or you might ask a bonus එහෙම නැද්ද? Okay. Now let me sort the marks. Okay. E. Column E. The largest to smallest. Okay. Then I'm going to hide students' names only, or the registration numbers as well, who has got less than 6, right? Less than 6, for obvious reasons, right? I don't want to, make anyone uneasy. That's not my intention at all. So I'm going to make it white font, so it's there, but I'm not going to show it, right? Okay. So now let's see final mark. So let me share the screen. Okay. Can you see my screen? Students, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Thank you. So these are the students who have got these the original mark. I added 1 mark to all. So this is your original marks. So I gave 1 bonus. So the maximum was 9. So right. Okay. Then these students got these students are very excellent. So 10 out of 10. DNAG, Jesuta, Mulu, then Samaravira, Sandali, right? Then Rajhan, is this your name? Is this your full name, Putra?
It's Mohammed Gujans.
Okay, can you put into the text your correct name?
Okay.
Yeah, Putra, you have to write your name properly because R should be capital. You don't put R simple, right? So write your name properly. Then Ridma and Suryarachi and Seva. There's no order. I just put it, and then Jayakram. So these students are excellent performers. So they got 10 out of 10. Jayavikrama Seva, the Suryarachi, Ridma, Rajhan, then Sandali, Mulu, Jesuta, and Vienagiri. Right? Then these students also performed very well as well. So they got 9. Sivapriyan, Sudhira, then Gunatilaka, Sandarwan, and Ravisha, and Disilva. Then these students also got about 6. Then below 5, I have not indicated the names. The names are there, but I'm not going to indicate them. Okay. So we'll put Rajhan's details properly. I think he has texted. Chat ke dalna hai nahi, you have not put in the chat, no? I think you have no access to chat as well, it seems. Okay. So Rajhan. So let me extract it from here. Even Sam Rujhan. You have to put a little bit know how to write your name properly, right? I think it's correct. So, and some students better to write the BSc thing, right? And write it proper. It's finally, this is the index number. If you write it improperly, then it won't go, your marks won't be added. But I'm going to now make sure that you have written it properly, everyone. So, so this is your index number, not my index number. You have to write it properly. Some students, they have written it in a very different ways. Right. Okay, never mind. I will correct it. What to do? Okay. Right. So these are good details. Right. Okay. Soaps. Okay. Right. Okay, that's good. Okay. Because I don't want to make anyone uneasy by showing marks less than 5. That's not my intention. But again, I encourage you to take part actively and do the exams and the quizzes actively. So my intention here is to help you. Okay. Right. Okay. We'll take a small break now after the exam. And the break. Okay. And after the break, what I'm going to discuss is about, shall we discuss our past paper? Yesterday, one student actually asked me whether we can discuss a past paper. I think what I'll do is I'll take a past paper and explain that to you, right? What is expected. There's one more topic to be covered, right? There's one more topic to be covered, that's smart PLS. So I will skip that and I'll explain to you a past paper, right? For that, what we'll do is I will upload a past paper.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, Pata? Yes, Taru. Please go ahead.
So yesterday you told that you will teach how to find errors in SPSS.
So what I'll do is that's also errors and anomalies in SPSS. Yeah, I will cover that as well because since we have till 12:30, I'll take about 30 minutes to 40 minutes to explain the past paper and then I will teach you how to treat. That's the last topic. Very good. Yeah, thank you for reminding me. Last topic in SPSS.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Buddha, thank you very much. So that's how you would deal with errors and anomalies, and that will take about 30-40 minutes. Thank you, Buddha. I'll explain that to you as well. And meanwhile, Buddha, I'll also put a past paper into the LMS. So this is the past paper that I'm going to show you for the students. Okay. So because one student asked kindly whether that person, so let me stop share. I might show the marks for the students who have got less marks. So I don't, that's not my intention. So I stop share. So let me go back again to the LMS. Yeah. And let me upload the past paper. So now itself you will see how things are tested. I have then two topics to be covered. One is the testing for errors, how to detect that. If it is a categorical variable or if it is a continuous variable, how to check that. It's an easy topic, but again, it will take about 15 to 20 minutes to discuss that. And then next week, we'll have the presentation, and after that, in an additional, that means we'll have a class. So in those classes, on 11th, probably, on 10th, probably, we'll discuss about smart PLS. So that ends the entire syllabus, right? Okay. So let's go back to your LMS. Right, okay, now I can share the screen. Hope you can see my screen, no? So I'm going to hide. Right, I'm going to hide the quizzes. Right, now let me put a past paper on the top itself. On the top pane, so let's say, see the edit mode. And let me put a past paper. Okay. Let's see that there's a past paper uploaded. Still it's loading, so therefore please wait for a while. Okay, it's now there. So this is a past paper. This is not required. So this is a past paper. And you can open it. Right. Okay. And after the small break, we'll take a 10 minutes break, Puta. And after that, I'll explain how you can get ready for this one, except question number 5. Next question number 5, I have to teach you the structural equation modeling, smart PLS. Right. Except that you should be able to answer all questions. So your question structure, I'll explain to you. So the first question is compulsory. Then you have to answer only 3 questions after that. Right. So out of 4. So if you want to skip one, you can skip. Likewise, I'll explain the dynamics. So shall we take a 10-minute break and meet at 11:10? Okay. So you just did the exam, so please relax and come at 11:10. And we shall first discuss the past paper, and thereafter we'll go to the screening and cleaning. How to screen and clean data. It's a small topic, we'll cover that quickly. It will take 20 to 30 minutes to do that. And we'll be going up to 12:30, which is the time today, from 8:30 to 12:30. Okay, thank you. And we shall meet at 11:10. Please take a small break. Right. Go to the places where you want, have some snack, and come back. Okay. Okay, students, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Right. Now I have a problem because students have not written their index numbers properly as well as the registration numbers properly. I think we need to address that number one. So what I'll do is I will take your without the information, I will create a Google Sheet. And I'll give you access to edit it properly. Right? Don't put new names because no point. Right? What I'll do is, these are the people who wrote the quiz on the first day, second day, and third day. And the problem is they have not done it properly. හරියට දාලා නැහැ. ඒකනේ ප්‍රශ්නේ now. That's the issue. So I'm unable to now identify who this is. Now, what I'll do is, I will put those numbers and names and I'll ask you to rectify that. I'm going to put that in a Google Sheet. Is quiz 1. And then I'll say quiz 2. And then I'll say quiz 3. Quiz 3 related. These are without marks, so no point don't put if you are not, come for the quiz, don't put your name. What you need to do is you have to just rectify and provide the proper information, right? So I'll show you what you have to do. Quiz 1 information is taken. So you are not writing your names properly. It's quiz 2. Right? And then let's have quiz 3. Aggregate කරගන්න. I cannot aggregate because based on your name and registration number. Right? Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this and I'm going to ask you to write it in a proper way. Right? So I'll give you an example how you have to write it. Registration number never mind. Sir, sir, okay. Right. Okay. Now let me see how to write it. Okay. Now I'll take one EXE students and I'll tell okay. How to write number properly. Then I'll take another student who is from 15C and I'll show you how to write your number properly. Okay. Then 15C is there. 15C WD. Yeah. In 15D WD is also there. So I'll take one student from there. That's it. Okay. Now, this is the thing. Okay. Now let me share the screen and tell you how to do it properly. නැත්තම් මේක හොයාගන්න ගියාම පුතා I have to go to the CID. CID. නම් හොයාගන්න ගියාම මට CID එකට යන්න වෙන තත්ත්වයක් පේනවා. So you are not written your name, numbers properly. That's the problem. So now I'll tell you how to do it properly. But with examples. Okay. Now Let me put anyone with the link. Okay. And we will put editor. And I said done. Copy link. Okay. Now then I'll share the link with you. But before I share the link with you, this is what you have to do. So let me ask you to do it now. So we have 46 students, 45 students, and all we'll have to do it now. And because I have to finalize your marks and send it. Right. So I have to get prepared. Then thought this yeah. Right now you can see this is how some people have written their names. But this is the real way that you have to write it. This is the correct format. BSc/2022-16D EX WE 019. There's a backslash. Now that's for 16D example. This is an example. Right? Make example. Make a right? This is an example. Then others, please write it 15D, 15C student, WD. Make it very make it very so first should come 15C. Make it very oh my God. So likewise, write it properly. When I see here, but at least some people have written 15C, WD. Write in this consistent way. So I'm going to put this over here. Okay. Yes. These are examples, right? It's an example. Example. An example. Now write your name with initials, right? Now Afras Ali, for an example, Ali, MA, something like that, right? So write with initials, write your name. Jawar, now for an example, Jayawardhana, LHP. Likewise, you write, you amend it. Now I'm going to share this Google sheet with you. So go to this, amend your name and your registration number properly based on this format. Example. This is an example, right? Go. You are written it in a different way. So how can I find out? And if you have not come for a certain case, don't put your name. No point, because I have the original list. I'm giving this as a separate list because to take that information, the marks are not there. I have the separate list. And then I will amend that original list based on this information. And so now I'm going to share this and kindly. So let's give a name. Quiz. Proper details. Let's call it proper details. So I'm going to give 5 minutes for this. So please change it. And if someone is not changing it, I can't help. You won't get marks. Right? So I'm going to again put this into the LMS so everyone can have access to this. So I'll say correction. So I'll put a URL. Correction equals. And follow that example. Now I'm going to check that. Follow the examples I had given and write it in a proper way with all details. Right? So go to correction of details. Then it will take you to that Google sheet and correct in all 3 sheets. Right? Correct it in all 3 sheets. Go to quiz 1 and properly correct it based on this example. Right? Give this all these details. Then quiz 2, go and give your details. Quiz 3, go and give your details. If you don't give properly your details, the consequence will be when I try to do VLOOKUP and aggregate the marks, your marks won't come. Marks in total, then you will get 0 marks. Even if you had got 10 out of 10 or 9 out of 10, you will get 0. So therefore, write your details properly, Puta. Everyone do it now. Go to quiz 1, quiz 2 sheet as well as quiz 3 sheet and correct it. I'm going to give you 5 minutes or maybe 6 minutes. And put your name with initials. Name with initials. Now CP Surya exactly correct. Likewise, name with initials. And BSc, put BSc capital. Right? Then slash. Then 2022 or 2021. Then put a small dash without any spaces. Then 16D or 16C, 15C, like that. Then slash. Then EX slash. If it is WE, then W or WD. And then small dash 0, 19, whatever. Since they are all students, please do these changes. And the batch leaders, please kindly put in WhatsApp to, if there are other students who are in foreign countries or whatever, to come and do this change. And do these changes in all 3, quiz 1, quiz 2, and quiz 3. Jayavardhana, still you have not done it properly. You have to BSc, it should be capital. Make a capital win. And if you want to do it for a friend, you do it for a friend. There's no problem. But make it accurate. Because I'm not going to take any responsibility. හරියට කරන්න වෙයි. යාළුවෙක්ට කරත් කමක් නැහැ. But it's okay. You don't, but do it properly. Because I'm not going to take any responsibility. මේ කළු තන්ත්‍රික කියලා දරුවෙක් ඉන්නවා. එයා ලියලා තියෙන විදිය බලන්න. නමක් දාලා නෙමෙයි. ඒක හරියට හදන්න. Afrasali, you have to write the properly. BSc, it has to be BSc, has to be all capital. And don't insert any columns, rows. Don't put new names. Keep it as it is. If you want to do it for a friend, you do it for a friend. There's no problem. But you have to take the responsibility. I'm gonna make 45 you know, Lanka Fonseca, he has written 45. Completely wrong, no, write it properly.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, Puda, yes.
So I did my quiz 3 on today, but my name is not in the Google Sheet.
What's your name?
Same here, sir.
Sorry?
Same here, sir.
No, that's quiz 1 and quiz 2 and quiz 3. No? So in quiz 1, you are not there. That's why. There are 3 quizzes. Quiz 2, quiz 3. Quiz 1, quiz 2, quiz 3. And don't try to put new sheets. Economic new sheet table. So these are 3 days. Yes, yes, sir. Yes, please.
Done today, but my name is not there.
Your
Quiz
name
3.
is, yeah, that means you have not, they have not done, you have not done the quiz, that's what.
So I have done. I have the screenshot also.
Quiz 3.
Yes,
Quiz
sir.
3,
I
same.
also done.
Yes, 50 වලින් නවතිලා. අලුත්නම් දාන්න එපා.
Excuse me,
Quiz
sir.
3.
Me
Wait,
as a
hold on. මොකක්ද වෙලා තියෙන්නේ? Quiz 3. Quiz 3, there are 50 students. Wait a moment. මොකක්ද වෙලා තියෙන්නේ? Quiz 3. Quiz C means that's 3. I have selected කවුද මකලා? Someone has deleted. අයියෝ පුතා මේ වැඩේ නම් කරන්න බෑ. පිස්සු කෙලලානේ. සමහර පුතා පිස්සු කෙලිනවා. Some I had copied and pasted and someone has deleted some names. I don't think this would work, right? ළමයි පිස්සු කෙලිනවා. So someone has deleted those. ඒක තමයි වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. දැන් මම ලිස්ට් එක පෙන්නනවා ඔයාලට. I'm not going to show you the marks. Right? මේක තමයි copy paste කරේ. ඒක සම්මාන ළමයි කරලා තියෙන. අනේ මන්ද පුතා මාර පිස්සු ටිකක් කිව්වේ. Right? I can tell what I could tell is there are some mad people here. They don't know how to edit a sheet. Now let me show you quiz 3, which I copied and pasted. So I'm just going to ignore what you have done, right? I'm going to delete this sheet. Ane puta, I was under the belief that there are some intelligent and, some students who have some, brains. But it seems people don't have basic common sense. Right? Let me share this. I'm just going to delete this sheet. Just ignore this sheet, right? Then share කරපු එක edit කරන්න එපා වැඩක් නැහැ. So what I will do is I'll send these sheets to the batch leader, 2 batch leaders. The batch leaders, please correct it and send it to me. මේක මේ ළමයිට කිව්වම මේක මේ අතන මානසික රෝග තියෙන කට්ටියක් ඉන්න බව පේනවා. ඒක delete කරගෙන. කරපු ළමයිගේ නම් delete කරන්න. So it's your colleagues that you have done that, right? But again, so what I'll do is I'll just delete this sheet. Move to trash. My God, indeed, that's very true. Some people, now let me show you the list, right? So I just deleted that. Proper details scale sheet again. I am very surprised how some students are working. And they were putting even their names, which was not there. So yeah, I will give the responsibility to the batch leaders. So they are sensible. So Pavani and Mulu are quite, intelligent people, and I can trust them. Okay. Right. Okay. That's good. So let me show you. Now I have not shown the names because of obvious reason, the marks, but I'll show you names. If not, you will see what has happened. My God, Putha, that students are really crazy. Share. Share screen. Okay. Okay. Now this is quiz C. 3. And these are the students who are wrote this according to my reports. Now, who told that one student told no, it was not there? Can you tell me your name? Put up, please.
Gunawardana.
It's not clear. Can you please repeat that?
Gunawardana.
Guna. Guna.
Yes.
Guna.
Gunawardana.
Gunawardana. Main MA Gunawardana.
Yes, sir.
Waiting. Wagati. Eka kaudu makala. Right. Our sheet. Now, this is my Excel sheet. This is the original sheet, and I put that to the Google sheet, and some mad person had deleted it. So, Gunawardana, you are there. Right. And these are all the because there were 56 students. Right. I was looking at take a 42 volt bell kaudu makala. ඒ කියන්නේ කවුරු හරි උත්සාහ කරලා තියෙනවා මේ අලුතෙන් දාන්න in certain places. So Gunawardana, you are there. There was another student who told that name was not there. Who is that? Check that.
RAD, AD and Rana Singh, sir.
Rana Singh. Mean Rana Singh, can you see that? Your name is there.
Yes, sir.
Your marks are hidden. See,
Okay, sir.
මේක මගේ original file. Right? මම දැන් කරන්න මෙහෙම. What I will do is I will send the 2 batch leaders to kindly correct this and send it to me. Right? So stop share because මේක දුන්න ළමයිට ළමයි සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම අනුන්ගේවත් delete කරලා. See how unethical that is, no? So what I'll do is I put this to say Pavani and Mulu are quite is B and Chris. They are quite responsible and sensors. So I will put the 3 names. My God, Puta, I was really surprised. What's අමයට දුන්නව කරනවා මරු වැඩ අනුන්ගේව ඩිලීට් කරලා තමුන්ගේව නැති ඒවා දාගෙන why is that? සර් එහෙම තමයි සර් ළමයි. You cannot sometimes you have to be very careful when you deal with things. තව ටික මට ගල්පල්ලි දකින්න වෙනවා. ලියපු ළමයිගෙත් අයින් කරලා. අර වැඩනේ අපේ දරුවෝ කරන්නේ. ලියපු ළමයිගේ අයින් කරලා කිව්වනේ. තමුන්ගේ එක දාගන්න ලියපු ළමයිගේ. So you had removed the people who have written. I can identify who they've done that. Take up for it, you know. But again, because in the history, it tells who did the editing. I can identify, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to waste my time on unnecessary things. And my God, and the thing is that some students cannot write their names properly. Right now, I have compiled the list, and I'm going to send it to Miulu and Pavani to kindly discuss with each other, because in this list, your both batches are there. So discuss with each other, rectify that, and send me one file. Okay. List to Pavani, and Miulu. Mother, ළමයිට දුන්න අවස්ථාව. My God. පිස්සු කියලා. Okay. Okay, so the 3 pieces are there. Right. අනුන්ගේ number එක ලියාගන්න තේරෙන්නේ නැතේ කොහොමද? It was very kind of surprising, but again. So don't get disheartened. That's the way of students. Some students, right? Okay. Okay, so what I will do is now I have got 3 lists, so let me close the things. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll share my screen. Right, now this is the list I'm going to send to Pavani and Yulu. It's ABC, and also I'll D and E also I'll be sending in due course. So Buddha, what you need to do is, and also let me give the group information as well. Group එකත් මම දාලා යනවා. Group එකත් පිස්සු කරනවා. එක එක විදියට ලියන්න. So group information එකත් එක එක විදියට ලියලා තිබුණා. I saw that the group information is also written in different ways. මේ ඔක්කොම එක විදියකට ලියලා මට එවන්න. Right, you are doing a great help. බැලුවා ළමයිට දෙන්නේ ළමයි එක ලියලා තියෙන එක විදියට. So make sure that the names, so group information, to take 1 week, right? You send it to me by next week, that's it. And not next week, next Thursday, like, then I can keep everything ready. Right, okay. What I'll do is now, so please, Pavani and Mulu, please discuss with each other, because in this list, both of the group's information, the batches information is there. So therefore, kindly discuss with each other and give me one document. Okay, let me send it to you now itself. Okay. 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 So let me send it. So let's say, Pavani. Pavani. Pavani's email. Let me share the screen. Okay, now let me share this list with Pavani. Pavani has sent her email, it seems. Okay. Aputa, thank you. Pavani. Then Mulu. Mulu, can you also put WhatsApp your email address? I think you had already done so. Yeah, it's there. Pavani also had the same. Right. Okay. Then I'm going to send you this list. List to Pavani and all. Okay. So please rectify the fixed information as well as the group information. Please write it consistently and please send it to me. You are doing me a great help. information that needs to be correct. Okay, that's good. So, Puta, I'm going to, I trust you that you will do it properly. So please send it to me, right? This particular information I have sent it to you. So please rectify the numbers, the names, whatever it's okay. The numbers should be written in a consistent way, right? So both for group batch 15 and batch 16, right? For all these things, the names, whatever it's okay. Please make sure you are written the proper numbers, right? And also give a chance to the students to, if you want, you can give a chance to the students to see whether the numbers are accurate. And then both of you get together and send me one list, one Excel file, right? And I appreciate if you can send it by next Thursday. Okay. Right. My God. I was dumbfounded. Deleted names of others. You try to insert your own names. What's this? Right. What again? That's the way that how some things work. Okay. Right. Now let's come to the past paper. Past paper picture. Okay. So then afterwards that screening and cleaning thing is there. And then smart PLS is the last thing that we are going to discuss. Okay. But let me now tell you about the past paper. Can you see my screen?
Yes,
Can you see
sir.
my screen? Excellent. Thank you. So here you can see answer question number 1. It's compulsory. And then 3 are the questions. Time allowed 3 hours. So you can see that question number 1 is a case study, a minor case study, a small case study. Right? It's around half a page case study, but there will be SPSS output. And then there will be 4 questions. Out of that, you will write 3 questions. And time allowed is 3 hours. And yes, you will be given only a question here. You don't need to use any computers. You'll be given the computer output. Now let's see question number 1 for an example. Question number 1, case study. Assessing the internship satisfaction factors. So this is related to internship satisfaction. So internship satisfaction plays a pivotal role in shaping the experiences and perceptions of interns within organizations. Accordingly, a study was designed to investigate the determinants of internship satisfaction among interns who are undervalued. The researchers endeavor to understand how mentorship quality, task meaningfulness, and organization culture influence the overall satisfaction level of the internship. Now, these are very important statements. Here it indicates what are the independent and the dependent variables. It says mentorship quality. When you in internship, someone gives you mentorship, isn't it? The quality matters. Then how much the internship task is meaningful. I know some students, what they do is they go to prominent organization, but for whole 6 months, what they have done is they have entered the number in the checks into a register. Right? CR book number enter karne. So that's what task meaningfulness means. How much meaningful you are doing, the task that you are doing. Then organization culture. Organization culture is another aspect. So these are it seems the 3 independent variables. Influence what? The overall satisfaction of interns. So it seems your dependent variable. Likewise, when you read this case study, you have to understand what's there and what's the case study is all about. Then you also will be given not the same case study, but some other case study. You'll be given the question in Appendix 1. right? In appendix 1 of this questionnaire or of this question paper, the question is given. And in part A, it will talk about the demographic information. The demographic information of the question. And part B is about what? The independent and dependent variables. Now, since you have four altogether independent and dependent variables, it's given measured in a Likert scale. The Likert scale it's given. And what it says is you have got 250 responses. And you have compiled an SPSS dataset. And the relevant outputs are given in appendix 2, SPSS outputs 1. Right? So in appendix 1, you have got the questionnaire. And in appendix 2, you have got the SPSS outputs. Now, if you go to appendix 1, and then you ask some questions. Right? Questions. So let's go to appendix 1. So I uploaded this question paper, right? So this is appendix 1, and you can see the question paper is there. Part A is personal information, demographic factors, age of the intern, gender, year of study, major, business major, non-business major, medical engineering students are also included here. Then the dependent and independent variable. Here, the first independent variables, they are mentorship quality. You can see this independent variable is measured using 3 sub-questions. In task meaningfulness, again, measured using 3 sub-questions. Organization culture, measured using 3 sub-questions. Then internship satisfaction, again, measured 3 sub-questions. And it says, thank you. Then you have got appendix 2 SPSS outputs. That's something else, of course. That's based on this, not something else. Actually, it's part of the question. Appendix 2 is giving the regression outputs. Then Cronbach's alpha output. And the fact analysis output. Right. Then appendix 3 is about data. Right. There's something else. Right. Now, based on that information, you ask questions. Now, the first question is this. It asks, state the possible quantitative research objectives based on the given scenario. Okay. What are the quantitative research objectives? My daughter also has come to learn SPSS, right? She's 2 years and 2 years old and 3 months, 2 years and 3 months old. She also has come to learn SPSS. Okay. Okay. Now, state the possible quantitative research objectives based on the given scenario. Like, what are the quantitative research objectives? Her mother comes and takes her away. Her mother says, you are still not old enough to learn SPSS. So, okay. Right. State the possible quantitative research objectives based on the given scenario. Okay. So, what are the quantitative research objectives? I could see there are 2 quantitative research objectives. Number 1, to examine the, right, you could say to examine the what? In level of internship satisfaction. Right? Your one objective could be to measure the, to measure the dependent variable. In this study, the dependent variable is your internship satisfaction. That could be number 1. So in your exam, you also might be given the same question, probably, but a different scenario. But you can write the same objective. To measure or to examine the level of the dependent variable. In this case, it's the level of internship satisfaction. Right? That's the dependent variable. Then the second objective could be to examine the impact of the independent variables on the dependent variable. So in any given scenario, that could be to see the impact of independent variables on the dependent variable. To examine the impact of, here you have 3 independent variables. What are 3 independent variables? You can be very specific here. You could see to examine the impact of mentorship quality, task meaningfulness, and organization culture on the overall satisfaction of internship. So the 3 independent variables and the dependent variable. right? That could be your second objective. So in any given scenario, you could have two objectives to see the level of the dependent variable. You tell whatever the dependent variable is that is internship satisfaction. Then number two, to examine the impact of the independent variables on the dependent variable. On the dependent variable. Now here, you can be more specific to this scenario. You could say to examine or to investigate the impact of internship quality, mentorship quality, task meaningfulness, and organization culture on the overall satisfaction level of internship of interns. Likewise, you can specify your two objectives. So you get 6 marks for that. Then the second question comes, is that clear? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Then the second question asks, state appropriate hypothesis for the given scenario. So what are the hypotheses? So we can have two hypotheses. What are the two hypotheses? In fact, we can have three hypotheses. For each independent variable, you can write a hypothesis. Right? How can you write a hypothesis? Let me show you. Already, I think in your research methodology class, you should have discussed this, but again, I'm showing you this. So you can write H1. What's H1? H1 is what? H1, there is a significant impact. Or you can even say there is, let's say there's an association between mentorship quality and internship satisfaction. So you take for each independent variable, you can write a hypothesis. Then H2 is what? What's the second one? Task meaningfulness. You can take the same thing and you can say task meaningfulness. H2. There's an association between task meaningfulness and internship satisfaction. Then H3 you can write how. Or the third independent variable. The third organization culture. So you can, I'll copy and paste the same thing and change the independent variable. Let's say not task meaningful, let's say organization culture. So I'm going to copy this organization culture. Right. So here, what you have done is you have just told that there's an association between mentorship quality, that's one independent variable, task meaningfulness, another independent variable, organization culture, another independent variable. The dependent variable is the same. Internship satisfaction, and internship satisfaction. So hypothesis is an assumption, right, that you make. You say that there's an association. You don't need to say positive or negative. You can just say there's an association. Or you can even say there's an impact. There's no problem. But you have to name it as H1, H2, and H3. Is that clear, Buddha? Is how you tell what are your hypotheses. Is it difficult? No. You got 6 marks for writing this. Right? Then C. Comment on the reliability of the items used for the dependent variable. Your dependent variable is internship satisfaction. Now go and see in appendix 2 the relevant output. All right, let's break the screen. I'm going to crack the screen into 2. I'm going to split the screen. How can you split the screen? Yes, you go to view and you can go to split, right? And now I'm going to go to appendix 2. Yeah. Now this is appendix 2. Let me make larger. I think you cannot see that, so let me make it larger. Okay. This is appendix 2. Now you are asking the reliability of the dependent variable. Now, can you see the reliability of the dependent variable by looking at the regression results? You can't. Can you see the reliability of the dependent variable, which is the interchip satisfaction by looking at Cronbach's alpha? Indeed, yes. Here, these are the three questions, DV1 to DV3. If you go and see the questionnaire, it's here, interchip satisfaction. That's the dependent variable, DV1, DV2, and DV3. So yes, it's given here under Cronbach's alpha. And it gives the reliability statistics. The Cronbach's alpha value is given. It's 0.790. Is it good or bad? It's good or bad? It's extremely good indeed. It's above 0.7. So you'll explain that when you give the answer for this question. So you will go back to the question. So it's in page number 6. Right? Okay. If you go to this question and answer that, it's asked, okay, comment on the reliability. You will say, based on the Cronbach's alpha value, the SPSS output indicates the Cronbach's alpha value is 0.790, which is above 0.7, right? Right, 0.7 is threshold. If something is above 0.7, it's said to be good. Accordingly, that these three sub-questions have internal consistency or reliability. That's what you could say. Right? For that, you get 6 marks. Right? Then C, and then you have that for C, then for part D. For part D, you are being asked, comment on the construct validity of the dependent variable. How can you check the construct validity? What's the analysis that you perform? Last week I told you that. What's the analysis? Factor analysis. Right? Factor analysis is what you perform. So to check that, you are going to see the factor analysis. So again, you go to appendix number 2 and you see where's the factor analysis. Here, factor analysis given. So again, for the dependent variable, that's what they ask for, right? And you can see this output. What's your conclusion? Does the dependent variable has construct validity? I told you what? If all these questions load as one component, if all these questions are loaded as one component, then we conclude what? There's what? There's construct validity. If you can't remember, go and watch my video on validity testing, which we did last week, Sunday. Right? Sunday and Saturday, we discussed these things. So yes, it loads as one component. Therefore, we could conclude that this particular construct, the dependent variable, interchip satisfaction, has construct validity. Suppose if this had come to 2 components or 3 components, these 3 questions went to 3 components, then in that case, we cannot call there's construct validity. All right, we can call it construct validity. Right. So comment on the construct validity. So you can say in appendix 2, the factor analysis indicates that all elements, all questions are loaded in as one component, one factor, and therefore it is concluded that the factor, the construct validity, right, for this particular variable, interchip satisfaction, is there. So that's what you are going to related to construct validity. Right? When you revise, right, first revise those videos, revise the content, and come back to today's segment of the video and see how I have given the answers. Right? Then it will help you to give you the proper answers. I'm giving this very in advance even today because then you have time to revise and come back to this video. And today it's a video recording, and indeed as other days as well, but it's a completely, we do it online. So you come to this segment and listen to this. and see how you could give the proper answers, because probably the structure will be the same. The scenario will be different. There will be different outputs, of course, but the structure will be the same. Right? Then using the regression analysis given in appendix 2, comment on the overall model validity and the explanatory power of the model. So 8 marks being given. Overall model validity and explain power of the model. So you go to again appendix. Right, we go to the appendix. Right, here you have the regression analysis. Right, if you want to see the overall model validity, what's the table that you refer in regression output? What's the table that you refer to? It's the ANOVA table, isn't it? The ANOVA table, you are going to see the significance of the F test. So yes, you can see the significance value is less than 0.05. So it's less than 0.05. So you conclude what? The model is valid on an overall basis. The regression equation or the regression model is valid on an overall basis. Then the explanatory power of the independent variables. You look at what? What's the table? It's a coefficient table or the model summary table. You look at the model summary table. Very good. Model summary table. Here you go and look at the R squared value. So this is the explanatory power of the independent variables. So you can see very clearly the R squared value is 0.153. That means 15.3% of the dependent variable internship satisfaction is explained by the selected 3 independent variables. What are the selected independent variables? Organizational culture, task meaningfulness, and mentorship quality. What's your comment on that? Is it a good value or R squared value? Not at all. It's only 15%, 15.3% that these 3 variables explain the intern satisfaction. That means there is more than 85% or almost 84.7% variation in the internship satisfaction is explained by some other variables not considered in this model. So usually if they say above 50% or 70%, that's good. But here you can understand it's not good. It's not good at all. It's not good at all. What to do? That's the situation. Right. So that's the answer for those 2 questions. Right. Comment on the overall model validity and comment on explanatory power of the model. Right. Overall model is valid, but the explanatory power is poor. Then recommend strategies to increase. Recommend strategies to increase the satisfaction of interns based on the results. Now to recommend strategies, what table you have to look at? You have to look at the coefficient table. You have to look at the coefficient table. Here you can see, right, what are the significant predictors. Based on significant predictors only, you will give a recommendation. What are the significant predictors? What are the significant predictors? You can clearly see only what is significant.
Organization culture.
Very good. Very good. Only organization culture is significant. So that's the only recommendation you can give. And it has a positive impact, positive significant impact. So you could say to increase internship satisfaction, to increase the intern satisfaction related to or regarding the internship, right? Create a conducive culture. Create a conducive culture. That's the only recommendation you can give based on this output. If you tell, for an example, if you want to, then if you say mentorship quality or task meaningfulness, if you give any recommendation on that, your answer is wrong. Right. And on the other hand, if you give recommendations on all three, then you'll get only 1/3 of the marks that's allocated. Because 2 are wrong. Only one answer is correct. Okay. So that's how you would answer this case study. Right. So you are given the SPSS output and right, you're being given the SPSS output and you're asked to do this particular interpretations. So no, you are not going to be asked to do any analysis in the class. What you'll be doing in the exam, not in the class, at the exam. And what you'll be doing is, we'll be given the output. And while giving the output, we are going to ask you to do certain changes, right? To certain interpretations, not changes, interpretations. Is that clear? Now, yesterday one student asked me, sir, could you please upload a past paper? No, I told not only I'll upload the past paper, I'll start discussing the past paper. Now you can get ready. Now you can get ready, right? So I discussed question number 1, and in time to come, now you can then go through the other questions as well. So likewise, this is the major question which carries 40 marks. Then after that, after this question, you have panel regression. Right, again, you will see. Right, now I did not teach you winsorization, so just forget it and try to answer the other questions. So remember, what I teach is only what I test. Keep that very, very in mind. Right, I omitted winsorization at the moment, which is not panel, it's not related to panel regression, it's something to do with treating outliers. So that's why I just omitted that and concentrate on the important point of panel regression. So yes, see whether you can answer these 3 questions. Then fact analysis and test of differences. See whether you can answer these questions. And then SPSS related other analysis. Now in question number 1, we had only the main analysis. Then under question number 4, you have the descriptive analysis. Then t-test information and one-way ANOVA information is given. And also there's correlation analysis provided. Then the final question is on structural equation modeling, which I'll teach you right week after next. The last week I'll teach you this, and that will finish all the points. Right? So that's how we are going to do the things. Hope you are okay. And any questions related to question number 1? And I'll, if time permits, indeed, I'll discuss the next questions as well. But I will allow you to first go through the past paper and come up with your own answers. I discussed question number 1 because it's a heavy question, and to give you a taste and to make you less afraid of the paper, so you would understand what we have discussed is only what we test. Right? Is that clear? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Don't be afraid. Right? Don't be afraid, and you will be given this similar type of questions will be there. Not the same case, of course, not the same output. But if you do this question paper, it will be very helpful for your exam. The scenario will be different, and the questions will be the outputs will be different, but the questions will be quite similar, not the same, but again quite similar. Okay. Right. So that's about the question paper, and I'll be discussing the rest of the questions in time to come. So please go through these questions, and I'll write, if time permits, I'll do the things. But now let me shift into the what was remaining. Right. So I'm going to close this. So don't save. So let me go to the SPSS, and the remainder was testing for errors. So please go to the last SPSS session that we are going to discuss. That's screening and cleaning. Screening and cleaning. It's a small session which will take about 10 to 20 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. But let me take that time and explain that to you as a matter of completion. So you can go to screening and cleaning. You go and click on that. So it will take you to screening and cleaning. Okay, screening and cleaning data. Now, what it says is that before you do any kind of SPSS, Stata, Smart PLS, or any other kind of analysis, you have to make sure your data is correct, right? What happens if your data is incorrect? So that's what it says in this slide. Before you start to analyze your data, it is essential that you check your data set for errors, right? It is very easy to make mistakes when entering data, and unfortunately, some errors can completely mess up your analysis. So if you analyze wrong data, you get wrong results. If you get wrong results, you make wrong recommendations based on that. Right? That's why you have to make sure that your data is error-free. Right? Okay. Now I'm going to teach you this the thing, right? These are certain things that you should need to do. A small adjustment in SPSS settings. Right? You will understand why you are doing this adjustment a little bit later. But a small adjustment you have to do. Without doing the adjustment, I'll tell what happens, and with the adjustment, I'll tell what happens. Right? Okay. Right. Now, in rectifying errors, right? In rectifying errors, you have two steps. Right. Step number one is identifying the error. Step number one is identifying the error. Step number two is rectifying the error. So two steps. Step number one, identifying the error. Step number two, rectifying the error. So these are the two ways that two steps that you do to identify, rectify the error. So it's very common sense, isn't it? Right. Okay. Now rectifying the error. And how to do that? Already I taught you about normality, so we don't need to talk about normality. To check the data normality, I told you that you can do what? Draw histograms as well as perform two tests under factor, right? Under factor, right? Explore function. Under explore function, I told you that you can perform two tests, the Colombo as well as Shapirovic test. So these things I have already discussed with you. But now I'm going to teach you how to identify errors quickly. Checking for errors. So identifying errors, step number one. So to identify errors, right, this is a quick and dirty method that I'm going to teach you how to identify errors in certain variables. Now, already I told you that you can classify variables into two types. What are the two types? Categorical variables and continuous variables. Now I'm going to teach you how to check categorical variable in a quick and dirty method. Right? So please write down, right? Checking categorical variables. Checking categorical variables quickly in SPSS. Right? So I'm going to teach you that method. To do that, let's go to our data. And there's a file, session 8, error for ED. Can you see that? Can you see that there's a file called error for ED? So please double click and open it. Or if you are not opened that already, you can download it and open it for the SPSS files. Now, what are the categorical variables here? Your gender variable, marital status, child, whether you are a child or not, education level, source of stress, right? Then whether you are a smoker or not, all are categorical variables. Now, I'm going to tell you how to check a categorical variable. quickly. Again, quickly. It's not 100% accurate the method that we are going to use, but again, quickly you can tell whether some errors are there or not in a categorical variable. Right? Now to do, what's the test that you would perform is a frequency analysis. So please take down under what you have written, right? In order to check the categorical variables quickly, a frequency analysis. In order to check the categorical variables quickly, we could perform frequency analysis. Right? Now, before adjusting the setting, I will show you the frequency analysis, but then I will tell you why we need to do a small setting adjustment in SPSS. In options, we have to go and do a small setting adjustment. But before doing that, I'll show you what to do. Right? Now, let's try to check the categorical variables gender, marital status, child. Likewise, these are all categorical variables. Now, let's perform frequency analysis and I try to identify whether that's an error, whether there's an error. Now, remember, male what are the categories 1 and 2. Then marital status, it's 1 to 8. Then child, yes, no, whether you have a child or not. Education, 1 to 6. Then source of stress, 1 to 7. And then smoker or not, yes, no. So likewise, you can see these are the categorical variables. Now, let's see how to perform frequency analysis. And then I'll change the setting and show you why we need to change a small setting in SPSS. How to do that? You go to Analyze. How to do frequency analysis? Descriptives. Then what you need to choose? How to do frequency analysis? What to do? Analyze descriptive statistics, frequencies. You take the gender variable, age, not age is not a categorical variable, then marital status, child, whether you have a child or not, source of the education level, source of stress, whether you are a smoker or not. Right? So likewise, you have these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 categorical variables. And you will just press OK. Now you can see gender variable is given. In your case, this 3 might not be there. Right? Don't worry about that. And likewise, the information is given. Now tell me, by looking at the gender variable, is something wrong. Is something wrong? In your case, this 3 is not there, right? Gender variable is Is something wrong? Yes. How come number 3? Gender, you can have only 1 and 2. The word with a blank pen. Why? Because this number 3 is, that's what I'm going to now tell you. You have to do a small setting change to get this number 3. Now here, usually on the value labels are only displayed in SPSS. In your case, if you do this, this number 3 won't be appearing. Now, but number 3 is there. Right? So how to get this number 3 or the value labels and the variable names, right? As well as the label of the variable, how to get that? Now I'll tell you that setting change. You go to edit in SPSS, then go to options in SPSS, and then go to the output tab. Go to the output tab and make sure you have selected names and labels. So we want to see names and labels of the variables. Then values and labels. Right? because it's usually only labels or labels. Right? Then also here, names and labels, and again values and labels. Likewise, select those things. So now press OK. So the setting change is done. And again, if you go and now perform again, analyze descriptive statistics and frequencies, and put these variables, gender and other things. And if you press OK, now you will also see that in your frequency table for gender, you see number 3. If not, usually it will be hidden. But here you can see clearly there is an error. There cannot be number 3. Right? In marital status, is there an error? No. Maybe internally, if there's an error, can't help. But that's what I told. It's a quick and dirty method to check that. So there's no out of range. Child, there's no error, but there's a missing value. That's not an error. In education level, there's an error. Why? Because we have only 6 categories. There's number 22. Seems number 2 was typed as number 22. That's an error. Then source of stress, are there errors? Yes, 8 and 9 are unclassified. Then smoker, there's no errors, but there's a missing value. So likewise, for a categorical variable, you can check whether there are, whether there are categories that were not there now. If gender is 1 and 2, you cannot have 3. Right? So that's step number 1. To identify the error. But this is not 100% accurate. If you had made an error now, if you had typed 1 instead of 2, then it won't indicate. This one won't indicate. But this will indicate if you go out of range. If you type 4, 5, 6, then it will indicate. So once you identify an error, the next thing what you have to do is you have to locate it and rectify that. I told you 2 steps. Identify the error. Number 2, rectify the error. Now how to rectify that? You can go to the data set, which you opened earlier. Something else. Go to data view. And now the gender variable is this. You can now number 3, number 1 and number 2 are the numbers that could be there. And what you can do is you can sort by gender by descending order, because it was number 3 that was there. So if you put descending order, it's the highest to lowest. So number 3 will come on the top. In fact, it's the case, but again, you can say sort descending. And you can see, yes, indeed, number 3, you located this error. And then you can see whether the original questionnaire, when you might have the physical questionnaire with you, and when you enter the data, you might have committed an error, and now you can rectify that. Maybe it was number 2. It was number 2, right? And so number 2 might have been number 2. So you can rectify that, but you have to check that original question. So that's how you could identify an error and rectify an error when it comes to a categorical variable. For a categorical variable, that's how you would identify and rectify an error. Okay. Identify and rectify an error. Is that clear? For a categorical variable. Now, if you want to now check now the education level, there was it the education level? Yeah, education level, there was number 22. Now, education level, how to locate that error? Of course, if you want, you can just write, you can click on the column and you can type Control F and you can type 22. Then it will, and you can say find next. Then it will take you to 22. Right? Yeah, 22 it will take you. Or you can sort it. The easiest method is sort. Education level cannot be 22, so it's a large value. So you can right click, sort descending, and then it will come on top. So you can see these are error. It seems number 2 was typed or mistakenly typed as 22. So you have to go to the original questionnaire, the physical questionnaire, rectify that. In Google Forms, if you had used Google Forms, this error cannot happen because the respondent will have to choose an option. Here it seems there was a physical questionnaire given and obtained, and then when you enter the data manually to SPSS, you might have made an error. So that's how you could locate and rectify errors in a quick and dirty method. Right. So this is not fully accurate because if you made an error within the categories, it won't show this. But if it is out of range like this, you can rectify those things. Is that clear? It's a quick and easy method to check whether there are errors in your dataset. Okay. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. It is clear.
Right. So that's I told, that's I related to when you want to check a categorical variable, that's how you would check that. Right, identify an error. So I told for a categorical variable. Number 2, please write down checking a continuous variable. Number 2, checking a continuous variable. Now let's see how to check a continuous variable. Now can you tell me, right, in this data set, if you go to variable view, now out of these number 2 variable to number variable, what could be a continuous variable? Which doesn't have a category. I made your life easy.
H.
What's a very good age variable? Indeed, excellent. Age. Now to check the age variable, which is a continuous variable, you could perform descriptive analysis and see whether there are extremely large or extremely small values, which cannot be, right? So you can tell to check a continuous variable in a quick manner, to check a continuous variable in a quick manner, to check a continuous variable in a quick manner, we could perform descriptive analysis. You could perform descriptive analysis. Okay, shall we do that? Okay. You can go to analyze, descriptive statistics and descriptives. And then you can put age. Age is there now. I put age. Then go to options. And you can see some things are already selected, minimum, maximum. Make sure that by default it's there. Minimum, maximum is selected. And even you can say courtesy and skewness, which we did earlier also, courtesy and skewness. Right. And you can press right. Make sure that these two are there, right? Minimum, maximum, by default it's there. And you can press continue. Right. You can press OK. Do you see something wrong in this by looking at the descriptive statistics? No, where is it? Look at the data and tell me if something is wrong. The data will age variable case. Is there something wrong in age variable?
The minimum age is 2.
Very good. Now these are employees, right? Can you have an employee 2 years old? Even child labor, we cannot employ 2 years old people, right?